Hello all. In this video we are going to study regarding about the overview and the phases of the compiler. So till now we have learned that language processing system, how the language processing system will be works and everything. And in this video we are going to see that what is meant by the overview and the phases of the compilers. So here, as we said, that compiler task is converts from the low level language to the high level language. So how the conversion will be going to be occurred during the phases of the compiler, and who will gives the work to convert from the low level language to the high level language. So here a compiler operates in the phases, and the phase is nothing but the logically interrupted operation that takes the source program in the one representations and produces the output in the another representations. So this compilation process is a partition into the number of the subprocess called as the phases. So here we have the phases. Phases is nothing but the partitioned number of subprocess. So compiler is divided into the two major phases. One is the analysis phase and one is the synthesis phase. So analysis phase is nothing but the front end of the compiler, and the synthesis phase is nothing but the back end of the compilers. So what is the front end that we are going to have analysis phase? Everything will be depends on the machine dependent, that is machine independent, language dependent, and synthesis phase is totally machine dependent or language independent. So in this analysis phase it is going to be concentrating more on the language, and the synthesis phase is concentrating more on the machine language. So here machine independent, which doesn't know the which type of the machine it is using, so that is called, we are going to call it as a machine independent. And now we are going to see the structure of the compiler. So here you can have that structure of the compiler, that is source program and the language analyzer, syntax analyzer, semantic analyzer, intermediate code generator, code optimizer, and the code generator. So apart from these 6 phases, we are going to have the two things, that is a symbol table, and the one more thing we are going to call it as a error handler. So in this phase, the first phase we are going to discuss, that was we'll see the example. Along with the example also we'll discuss what is a phase, each and every phase work, and what is the output of the each and every phase. So now comes to the first phase, which is nothing but the source program. So source program, which is already we have learned that is called as, which is in the form of the high level language, and that is high level language will become the input to the lexical analysis. Right. So the high level language will become the input to the lexical analysis. So here when we are going to call it as a phase, right, we said that these all are the phases of the compiler. So when we are going to call it as a phase means whenever any one of the phase is going to take the input of the previous phase and giving the output to the next phase, then that is going to be called it as a phases of the compiler. So here the first phase we are going to have is lexical analyzer. So what is mean by the lexical analyzer? So lexical analyzer is nothing but generally it will read the stream of characters and making up the source program and group the characters into the meaningful sequences. That is called as a lexeme. So in this, indirectly the whatever the source program that you wrote, so in that source program first each and individual character is going to be reads by the compiler, means the each and every character is going to be called as a one lexeme. So after reading the all the characters by the compiler, that is a lexemes, and the group of lexemes together we are going to call it as a token. The group of lexemes we are going to call it as a tokens. So here lexical analyzer represents these lexemes in the form of the tokens. So that is a work of the lexical analyzer. So the output of that lexical analysis is nothing but the tokens. So now the output of the lexical analysis is nothing but the tokens. So when we are going to get the tokens, how the tokens are generated by the lexical analysis means here we have the directory called as a regular expressions. In the lexical analyzer we are having the directory called as a regular expression. So whenever the regular expression, already it will be by default defined everything, it will be defined everything in that directory. So whenever the lexemes will be find outed by the lexical analysis, it will check whether that particular lexemes of the group of lexemes which is having some meaning, which is called as a tokens, will be existed in that directory or not. So if it will be directed in that regular expression, then it is generated the particular value of the token, and that will become the output of the lexical analysis. So here let us take the real-time example that we are going to have like whenever we are in the LKG, whenever we are in the LKG status, that is LKG class, then at that situation the students are not knowing that how to read the letters and everything. So the initial state onwards the teachers are trying to learn them, that is what is meant by the A, B, how to write the A, B, C and reading of A to Z characters, everything. So after 1 year, that is after studying 1 year, after studying the 1 year, then what they are going to think of it, they are having some excitement that where these letters and what is the meaning of that particular letter and how they are going to use in the real time world. Then after LKG they are going to shift it to the UKG. So at that standard then they are eager to learn that by using that letters how we can frame that words, right? So after framing the words they are having the eagerness that where these words will be existing and what is the meaning of that word. So at that situation they are going to refer that directory. So we are having the directories, that is a dictionaries, we are having the dictionaries. So they will search what they have learned, that meaning of what and apple, everything. So everything they will be available in the dictionary. So they are having that excitement to know what is the meaning of that words, what they have learned from the basic levels. So in the same thing, same way here also, whatever the characters will be existing in the high level language will be considered as a lexemes. So the group of lexemes we are going to call it as a tokens. So these tokens have to be checked in the regular expression directory, and if that will be available or if that will be matched with the regular expression, then the tokens are generated as the output to the lexical analysis. So here we have that is a lexical analysis phase. So here we have the lexical analysis, that is as I said, it reads the stream of characters, making up the source program and group the characters into the meaningful sequence called as a lexemes. So lexical analyzer represents these lexemes in the form of the tokens. So here this is the first phase of the compiler, and next one we are going to have that that is a syntax analysis. So what is mean by the syntax analysis? Syntax analysis is nothing but the which is a parse tree. It takes the tokens produced by the lexical analysis as the input and generates a parse tree or the syntax tree. So this we are going to call it as a syntax analysis. Means what are the tokens will be generated from this lexical analysis will be converted into the tree format structure, that we are going to call it as a syntax tree. So this is a representation of the syntax tree.